Good morning. Welcome to this Friday's edition of Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. Thank God it's Friday, December 6th, 2024. My name is Unifredo, your host on the program. On today's show, we are going to be looking at front headline stories on some select newspapers, including Nigeria's foremost Friday newspaper, Leadership Friday. As we normally do on the program, let's go with leadership and see what the leading stories are this Friday. Main headline story says climate crisis threatens Nigeria's health system. Climate crisis threatens Nigeria's health system. 21% of Nigeria's disease burden climate related, WHO, that is World Health Organization. 53 million people need to be relocated, coming from experts. Impact on health sector may worsen. Kickers to that leading story, climate crisis threatens Nigeria's health system. The story runs on page 4 of Leadership Friday. Let's see some paragraphs from that story. The growing climate crisis is severely straining Nigeria's fragile health system, and its wide-ranging health implications are intensifying existing challenges. Experts and global health authorities have warned that the worsening impacts of climate change, rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and changing disease patterns are exacerbating health vulnerabilities and threatening progress in public health nationwide. The World Health Organization has highlighted the multifaceted health effects of climate change, which include rising deaths and illnesses caused by heat waves, floods, poor air quality, and water contamination. According to the World Health Organization, over 13 million annual deaths globally are linked to preventable environmental causes, including climate-related factors. In Nigeria, the impacts are particularly acute due to the country's weak health infrastructure and high disease burden. Paragraphs from that leading story on Leadership Friday, this Friday, December 6, 2024. Climate crisis threatens Nigeria's health system. Other stories on the cover of Leadership Friday. PDP Labour Party kick as 5 lawmakers join APC. Out of these 5 lawmakers, 4 are from Labour or were from Labour Party, while 1 is from PDP. Federal government to resuscitate Bobby Grazing Reserve. Bobby Grazing Reserve is in Niger State, Mina. The story runs on page 8 of Leadership Friday. And on tax reform bills, no end yet in sight for the tax reform bills. It's a developing story in the country presently. And Akpabio, the Senate president, says we won't be intimidated. Tax reform bills, we won't be intimidated, coming from Akpabio, Senate president. Beside the mindset of Leadership Friday, Wike clarifies EFCC road controversy. And above the masthead of Leadership Friday, we have Dele Farotimi's book, now bestseller on Amazon after arrest. Troops kill 8,034 terrorists in 1 year, coming from Defense Headquarters. And with that, we move to the page 3 of Leadership Friday. And today's stand is on curbing the influence of non-state actors. Curbing the influence of non-state actors. Today's stand on Leadership Friday. From stand, we go to move over to the back page of the paper. Of course, the usual vintage Leadership Friday's back page is always conversation with Azu. Azu Isiakone is the editor-in-chief of Leadership Media Group. Today's conversation is on Word of the Year 2024. Word of the Year 2024 conversation with Azu, and in quote, I'm unsure which word might win OUP's crown in 2024, but I have an invoke word slate that will be difficult to ignore, because you have to log on to the website of Leadership Friday to find the word that is difficult to ignore. Is on that note we conclude review of front headline stories, the editorial back page, and of course inside stories on Leadership Today this Friday. For more, log on to the website of the paper, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership Friday, we move over to the next paper, which has Heart Story as its main leading story, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian says National Health and Demography Survey, spike in teenage pregnancy says die public health social concerns. It's a big story which runs on pages 4 and 5 of The Guardian today. National Health and Demography Survey, that is NHDS. Spike in teenage pregnancies tears die public health, social concerns. Because we have illustration, we have graduation, we have a teenage pregnancy. While the guy is graduating, his counterpart female teenager is not so lucky. You can see she has pregnancy. And 1 in 10 girls in Nigeria is projected to become a mother before the age of 18, coming from UNICEF. Other stories on the cover of The Guardian today: Labour Party fumes, vows legal action as 4 lawmakers defect to APC. Detained Okwama president died in military facility. 2027, Jonathan's campaign posters flood Kano. Politics, corruption, bane of education in Nigeria, says State Fund boss. Akpabio counters Barau, insists bids on course despite opposition. Akpabio counters Barau. Barau is his deputy Senate president. Insists tax bids on course despite opposition. Activists seek bail for Farotimi Ford police involvement. Hebrew Army chief advocates military-media partnership on security. Nigeria's budget under threat as OPEC extends production cut. Federal government opens probe panel as fire guts in Sipa warehouse. Empower tools. The story runs on page 29 of The Guardian. For more, log on to the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng, as we conclude the review of the front headline stories. From The Guardian, we move over to the next paper, still on tax reform bills. Vanguard and other papers on our menu are leading with it today. For Vanguard, tax reform bills, Okpabio overrules Barau, says bills not withdrawn or suspended. Vows Senate won't be intimidated by external pressures. Senate removes Mogunu from committee. South senators back bills, pass confidence vote in Akpabio. Reform must enjoy political, technocratic acceptability. Fayemi. Arewa use call Northern elites bluff, declare support for reform. I'll take that again. These are kickers beneath that leading story and also a developing story in the polity right now. The tax reform bills. Akpabio overrules Barau, says bills not withdrawn or suspended. Vows Senate won't be intimidated by external pressures. Senate removes Mogunu from committee. South senators back bills, pass confidence vote in Akpabio. Reform must enjoy political, technocratic acceptability, coming from former governor of Ekiti State, Fayemi. Arewa use call Northern elites bluff, declare support for reform. Other stories on the cover of Vanguard today: how we tackled 97% OML 17 oil theft. Elumelu. 4 Labour Party reps decamp to APC. PDP crisis, board decries shift of NEC meeting. Asks North Central to nominate Ayu's replacement. Netizens onboards mainstream energy solution for Nigeria's carbon registry. 2027, Jonathan's posters with new political platform flood Kano. Sports, 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Onazi queries Super Eagles commitment. As that said story takes us to the stories above the masthead of Vanguard. OPEC extends Nigeria's 1.5 million barrel per day oil quota to 2026. 10,000 people die in military custody over Boko Haram conflict, coming from Amnesty International. Privatization of power sector, total failure, Senate. Farotimi activist group plan nationwide protest December 10. That also concludes the review of front headline stories on Vanguard newspaper today's Friday, December 6, 2024. For continuation of these headline stories, move over to the website www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move to the next paper, that is Daily Sun. Daily Sun also has politics as its headline story. PDP chairmanship bought once Damagun out, Zone C to North Central. PDP chairmanship bought once Damagun out, Zone C to North Central. Tinubu to revisit, review harsh policies and corruption. We have the picture of retired pensioners, military pensioners who had the Ministry of Finance to lock down yesterday, demanding for their unpaid entitlement. Stories beneath that, Emeka Odumegu Ojukwu University is rising varsity from East, Omenuga activity. Farotimi Sowore plans protest against judiciary orders. Labour Party reps Buriwa announced demand release. Port reforms, 3.5 trillion naira bonded terminal investments at risk, operators warn. 4 Labour Party reps Ibori's daughter defect to APC. Opposition party threatens legal action over gale of defection. Towards the masthead of Daily Sun, tax reform bills within suspend deliberations, Senate. South senators back bills, reforms will bring progress to Nigeria, coming from National Rotation Agency, NOA. South senators back bills, reforms will bring progress to Nigeria. And the last story there is beside the masthead of Daily Sun. NEPC frowns at $480 million expenditure on importation of 3 million tons of rice. With that, also we bring to an end the review of front headline stories on the cover of Daily Sun newspaper this Friday. For more, log on to the website of Daily Sun, www.thesun.ng. From Daily Sun, we move to the last paper we have on our lineup this Friday, and that is The Punch. The Punch says 29 states spent 2 trillion naira on travels orders, reports. State governments borrowed 533 billion naira, generated 1.92 trillion naira IGR, service debt with 658 billion naira. 29 states spent 2 trillion naira on travels orders, according to the report carried out by the paper. We also have pictures of the military retirees who shut down the finance ministry over unpaid entitlement yesterday. Overtime vehicles, customs plan auction after 2-week ultimatum. Empower training tools destroyed as fire gusts Abuja warehouse. Amnesty alleges 10,000 die in Nigerian military detention. Beside the masthead of the Punch, PDP trustees tackle NWC over neck midweek January. And above the masthead of the Punch, tax reform, Senate denies suspending debate as Southern senators meet. APC berates faction flooding Kano with Jonathan's 2027 posters. It's also on that note we bring to an end the review of front headline stories on the Punch this Friday. For more, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. It's also on that note we bring to an end Inside Nigeria. This is the concluding part program for this week, Inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television. Don't forget to join us same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program next week, Monday. My name is Winifred Ugobo. Here is wishing you a beautiful weekend ahead.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158.